Hello everyone, this is Comment Below, the podcast where we dive into online stories you may or may not have heard about. I'm Alex, and with Ben, each week we share with you your recommended weekly allowance of opinion. Why not share your stories that you'd like us to discuss, or any comments you may well have yourself about something we discussed this week by emailing us commentbelowpod@gmail.com, Twitter @commentbelowpod, or Instagram @commentbelow_pod. Hope you're all well. That intro feels really sticky. I don't know. I still need to change the intro. I just can't get the flow. I don't know whether I should just not have an intro at all and just make it up ad hoc. Just go.
Go freestyle it last week. You did it at the end. So have you written an outro this week? No.
I don't do an outro. The outro is always the Facebook Mums Quote of the week.
Last week it was a rap.
It was a rap. Did we get any comments about that rap?
No,
that was a shame. I thought I might get some from misappropriation or something like that, because that was an awful rap that I created.
Not yet, but there is always time.
There's always time for me to offend or upset someone at some point. Have you had a good week? I've seen you all week. I've been off work, so I've been hassling you at work.
Yeah, you've been here. Yeah,
Have you enjoyed having me at home with you all the time? Have you?
Yeah.
Tell your face that.
I finished the read-through of my current book that I'm working on.
You have to plug in. An episode can't go without a plug, can it?
Last week.
But last week I gave you a real big plug. I was bigging you up,
website.
Going to your website, telling people where they can buy your book on Amazon and all that guff. And you were like, no, you too much. And that's the first thing you do.
You asked what I've done, that's what I've done. So I've had comments coming through the night from America, from people who are reading it, adding what they're thinking about. So it's all the fun stage at the moment.
So is that what you've been doing? You've been kind of editing stuff people have been sending you? Is that why you're working at night now?
No.
Leaving me on my own.
I sent it yesterday to beta readers. They're the people who read it before it's ready to go to an editor. They say, this bit doesn't make sense. Who's this? I don't like that. They do
this whole
comment.
Shit.
No, but that's when and I can go through it in a few months and edit it all and correct it all. So.
Oh, do you not do it as they send it?
No, I wait to the end, because they might be like, why has this happened? And then
later on they'll see otherwise.
They'll be like, oh, that's why, that's really good, or not good.
So I'm not needed anymore. I used to be helpful to you, and now I'm no longer.
Well, you're an alpha reader, not a beta.
Alpha should be first, then beta.
Oh, no, wait, you're not an alpha. You're an ARC reader, sorry.
What's an ARC?
Advanced reader copy.
Oh, I don't want to be a beta, actually, because I'll just...
Alpha, beta, ARC, release.
Because you'll make me read it like 3-4 times. I just about have the patience to read a book. Any book, not just Ben's books, before people get at me saying, like, you're horrible to Ben. Any book, I can read it once. It's like,
how's your week been, then?
My week's been fine. I cleaned the bathroom.
Ooh.
Then I cleaned the house.
Right.
Cleaned Charlie's litter box.
We went to IKEA. We got new books.
IKEA.
Possibly a new podcast set in the future. Who knows?
But we're thinking it looks really good for our other podcast, Faithful to the Traitors, which, by the way, you can find us on YouTube if you search Band Productions, or indeed search Faithful to the Traitors podcast or Comment Below podcast. And you can find us. If you see two very hairy men, one looks like a wolf and one looks like a bear.
Right. It's just the same script as last week, isn't it?
You're on to the right. Well, you might keep familiarity. We're talking about your book, aren't we? You can find us there. And if you do find our YouTube channel, please subscribe, follow, ring the bell, so you never miss any future episodes of our podcast if you like you watching us or listening to us. Indeed, if you like just listening to us, if you like us in your ears as you're driving along, then don't forget to follow us and subscribe on your favourite podcast app as well. There you go, that's that. I've just been kind of doing stuff around the house, sleeping in.
Not written a new intro of the podcast.
I've written the whole podcast, though, bar one subject.
Okay, well, have you got anything to talk about before we're doing these?
Well, can I also say then, if you're going to start sharpening your nails toward me, that if you look at the subjects I'm talking about, I've got extensive notes, comments, information, background information. You've copy and pasted 2 website links and put 1 Twitter handle at the end. So
we're here for the daily dose of opinion.
I have got something for us to talk about before we start. Okay. So obviously everyone enjoys listening and watching on TikTok. There's kind of like a Scylla talk, isn't there? Like Scylla Black honking and
covering every song under the sun.
That's right. And people have noticed that in the past that she has background stories behind all of her recent stories. People have noticed recently. So stand aside, Scylla. There's a new girl in town, and her name is Sue Pollard. Now people are starting to post Sue Pollard videos.
I know the name Sue Pollard.
Sue Pollard played a character in Heidi High. She's got a very gravelly, quite distinctive voice. And she was very big in the 80s. I met Sue Pollard, I'd just like to add as a side note, at a Do It All. If anyone remembers Do It All, owned by W.H. Smith, we had a Do It All in our local town, and she was doing a signing for a charity. And because I helped on the day doing charity work, I got to meet her before anyone else got to meet her, and I had signed. She was lovely. My memory serves me right. I don't really remember it very much. I was in the Beavers, the only time I've ever been in a Beaver, and I remember her being very polite. I think she's still alive. She was on an episode.
75 years old.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
She was on an episode of Gimme, Gimme, Gimme as well. But she's very well known for being quite extravagant, quite over the top, very kind of like, what's the kind of like showbiz? Like she will sing a song out of just nowhere and just kind of just start singing.
She looks very similar to the woman who was on Taskmaster like last year. Quite similar hair, glasses, makeup. What's her name?
I don't know. I have no idea.
No, what about her? What's
Hang on, wait. So you're trying to find the person who looks like Sue Pollard on Taskmaster by searching on Google Sue Taskmaster?
No.
That's ridiculous. Taskmaster contestant 2023. Carol Vorderman? Is it Carol Vorderman? So, it's Jenny Eclair.
Yeah, she looks like the same type of person.
Well, because their glasses are very large and they've got very bright hair and short.
Okay.
So Cilla Black sings.
Opens her mouth.
Honks. So Sue Pollard. So people have noticed Sue Pollard is similar-ish. So it's starting already. Let's call it Pollard Tok.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one I saw of many is Sue Pollard singing Walking on Sunshine. Would you like to have a little clip? This might get copyright striked.
Have I got it on my computer? No.
Well, I'll play it for you.
Right. And very advanced technology.
Yes, but then you can, with the magic of editing, play it on screen for people.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, cut. How long is this?
You don't look very impressed.
Yeah. Little gravel in her voice there. Right.
What did you think?
Well, compared to Stiller?
Yeah.
Better than Scylla.
Better than Scylla, despite her. Rah!
But she's using her deep vibrato.
But there's plenty of videos. I can give you one every week if you want.
Thank you.
Sue Pollard. She's an icon. She was very well known, as I said, in the 80s rather than any other kind of.
She outlived Scylla, so she won.
She did. She won. Did she win though? Because I think Cilla Black is more well known. I mean, I loved Sue Pollard. Like I said, I remember her on Heidi High. Anyone who likes watching camp, British.
Never seen it.
Outdated comedy, I would argue, which we could talk about how topical in a second on one of our subjects. But yes, I just thought I'd play that to you. I'm sure you can edit that down shorter. You can just cut to the video and then come back.
That's what I will do. That's why I counted out 3, 2, 1. You see, so it's all easy for me.
That's very good for you. But if anyone wants to watch the full video, I mean, we can always put the link on TikTok, or just look on TikTok, just to Sue Pollard. But
or if it's as popular as you say it is, it will be on everyone's TikTok anyway.
People are moving away from Scylla, you see. So Scylla was last.
How many songs has Sue Pollard?
Oh, a ridiculous amount.
Honestly, all day for because Cilla Black was for Surprise, Surprise and Blind Date. She was doing all those bits on TV. What show did Sue Pollard have?
Sue Pollard would literally just use any opportunity to sing. There's another one actually. I just remembered there is another one on there when she's singing on a variety show, and it's funny as well. She's like on a fake rooftop and she's kind of like clicking her fingers and kind of like doing jazz hands and stuff. Probably. Anyway, I will find more one day.
So we have got our topics of the show. I was just going to say on the opening chat before we get into the official business that there is one story this week in the news. I know we don't do politics very much, okay? So I'm just going to skim over this in 10 seconds. But the most ridiculous story this week in our newspapers is Angela Rayner, who sold her house. Have you heard this story? Angela Rayner.
She sold her ex-council house and people are kicking off because she said she doesn't think that council houses should be sold. But then that was misconstrued because actually she didn't say that. She said that for the lower price they shouldn't be sold.
And she did all this before she was even an MP, by the way.
Okay.
And how dare she? She sold a house. Guess what? She sold it for more than what she bought it for.
Wow, that's nuts. Absolutely crazy.
So that's been headlining lots of right-wing rags.
She's not living rent-free in her mum's house, like Suella Braverman, for instance.
No, that was just the bills, wasn't it?
Yeah, because, she can't afford the bills, Suella. Let's start a crowdfund for flipping Suella, shall we?
So that's how low the papers are this week. So
well, this is what happens when the papers are dominated by right-wing politics, isn't it?
Well, Dean Dorries was like, well, she should wait. If she can't handle this, just wait till she's in power. She's going to be at it really hard. It's like,
oh look how well Nadine handled it. She coped so well, especially
drunk on every interview of a
3-bottle-a-day habit. Yeah.
Anyway, so this episode then on Comment Below, what are we covering, Alex? I'm going to get you to go through.
Well, we're starting off. Are we going to go through the whole?
Yeah, what's coming up?
Okay, we're talking about a brand new streaming service for the right wingers of America.
Lovely.
It's not brand new. It's added on to an already existing. We're talking about the certification of films in the UK and how they've changed over the time because of
going up. Is it going down?
Because of new moral standards. And the one that I said Ben's tapped on at the end, we're talking about dynamic pricing. That seems to be a thing now, and how it's been already kind of happening in the UK with these supermarket loyalty schemes, and also in a pub chain owned by Yates's. Do you remember Yates's? Do you remember in the 2000s, Yates's? Everyone used to go to a Yates's.
What is it, a pub?
It's a pub chain like Wetherspoons, but it was like bigger than Wetherspoons at one point. And Wetherspoons used to go, yeah, everyone used to, God, I remember finishing at work, 18-year-old Alex, 19-year-old Alex, we'd finish our shift and we'd be like, oh, should we go to Yates's? And there was a girl I worked with called Sarah, and she just shouted in my face every time. She'd like, bug off, thinking it was funny because buy one, get one free, knew that. She'd be like, oh, bug off. And I'm like, yeah, bug off.
Was Woolworths around as well, was it?
Woolworths were still there at the time. So was Debenhams.
Well, I didn't go to pubs until gone like 2006, 2007, so I probably don't know what.
If we're talking about Woolworths, I remember when Woolworths went into administration and I got Samba de Amigo for the GameCube for £2. It was the best day of my life.
Really?
Yep. So there you go. So starting off then with, so you may or may not have heard of a website called the Daily Wire.
Lucky if you haven't.
They branched out. It was owned by Ben Shapiro, who's the co-owner, with another guy.
Lucky if you've never heard of him too, because he's an idiot.
And they kind of branched out and started a right-wing streaming service called Daily Wire Plus. Because if you're starting a streaming service, it's not a streaming service unless you add the icon plus to the end of it. Yes. And they now branched out into children's programming and have an extra service that you can add now to your monthly pay called Bentkey, and they've brought it out, and they're putting it as a alternative to Disney, because they quote you can't put your children in front of Disney content if the next thing it plays is pushing the gay agenda, because that's what they're worried about, the gay agenda hurting children.
That is true.
Ben
Shapiro is very worried about the gay agenda.
Yeah, Bentkey is part of the Daily Wire Plus, where you get exclusive content to uncensored material from Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, that's the other guy, and other right-wing voices. The children's content will include Chip Chiller, which is that new right-wing copied cartoon of Bluey. By the way, I'm a fan of Bluey. I love Bluey. I'm not afraid of saying it. I am one of those adults that do watch Bluey and have cried at watching Bluey as well. That episode where they're doing the spacecraft and they're floating around and the dad's trying to construct them.
I don't watch that gay stuff.
Yes, exactly. Too gay for you. Called Chip Chiller. That's voiced by a guy called Rob Schneider, who, may I also say, I knew from the start was a wrong 'un. When he used to release those comedies, I'm strongly, heavily using inverted commas on that comment, in the 2000s, I used to say then that he wasn't funny and that God knows how he's got as popular as he did. But anyway, that's for another day. So yeah, how do you feel then that the right wing feel like that they need to start them young, as it were, and propagate their minds early on? Are they propagating their minds early on? Or is this children's school? Because we don't really know what the content is other than the Chip Chiller stuff.
We're going to know what's going to be. What is it that Disney did that set this off? It's when Buzz Lightyear had one lesbian scene, kiss in it. Not even that's a lesbian scene, sorry. It had a lesbian kiss in it and they had a baby in the future in space with Buzz Lightyear.
Actually, this all kicked off because Disney repelled the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida. And they've for years been getting a lot of tax, like getting away with paying less tax for land that they've bought in Florida because they've kind of supported the governments that are there. But then when they started doing this Don't Say Gay bill, Disney spoke out against it, and now a lot of the right-wing parties don't like that the Disney aren't basically playing nice and kind of just going along with
the government.
And so this is kind of
they're all throwing their things up the pram, because they're creating their first film as well, Snow White and the Evil Queen, which is because they don't like the woke version of the live action Snow White.
I want to know how discriminative they can be about the dwarfs. In the fact that I'm using the term dwarfs isn't particularly, but that is what it is. It's Snow White. Snow Wife.
Yeah,
Snow Wife.
So they've not called it that. Bentkey haven't called it the Seven Dwarfs. How woke are they?
Well, that's true. They're very
woke of them, I think, aren't they? The whole thing is just ridiculous because Ben Shapiro is just a non-entity, and even the Daily Wire, like Candice Owens, I've just seen looking at the Daily Wire. Candice Owens is part of it as well, and she's just thick as mince. She's awful. She goes around and she says things really, like I know what I'm saying, and it's like everything she says is just
fact check,
complete bullshit. And Ben Shapiro's the same, and he's known for like doing those videos where he goes up and asks questions to people on the street, but he only goes to colleges and like only asks really young like people who aren't informed, and he tries
it's skewed towards basically people getting wound up by what,
and he thinks he's smart and he's not, because he only ever does he doesn't do intellectual questioning to anyone. And Candice Owens is the same, and they're just annoying, but they're just typical. They hate trans people, they hate gay. It's all in your face, it's woke. None of it is backed up by anything, and this whole thing is just an exercise. It's going to be filled with people who have been pushed out of the television industry, who are then like, well, I'm upset, so I'm going to go here and create this. Like the person who's doing the Snow White film is the same. It's like,
well, they've already done a film that kind of got a little bit of traction called Lady Ballers, which was about a baseball team that couldn't get into a baseball league, so they all dressed up as women and joined the women's team, and that's the joke. Basically, that's just one long joke, basically, that they're identifying as women because they want to join the basketball team. And it's just a sick joke, really. It's not even funny, and it's misunderstood and it's misinterpretive. But then that is the right wing, isn't it? It's like if you shout loud enough, then it becomes true, which is what Donald Trump's done. You know, it's just if you say it enough times, you know, it's like if you say Beetlejuice 3 times, eventually he will appear. If you say something enough and the press pick it up enough, and it's not get pushed or questioned enough, then people will start believe what they're being told is true. It is starting to get pushed a lot more than it used to. We're having this conversation, I would say 6, 7, 8 years ago, when the right wing started to kind of like formulate this plan of, oh, I know how we can get people to be convinced by what we're saying, and that is just make up crap and not give people the opportunity to fact check it. People are, I think, media, or good media, I should say, good news services are getting and picking up and learning from it, and now are in line with their kind of way that they're working, and are able to pick up on it much quicker, able to fact check it much quicker. You know, it's like if the BBC did a debate when they were choosing a new conservative leader. Throughout the whole debate, they had 3 people behind a desk who fact-checked everything that they were saying. You know, Liz Truss was talking absolute rubbish constantly from her book that she keeps going. What's it called? Unchained Britain or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's right chapter each.
And you know they kept untangling everything she was saying. She's like, well, no, that's all. No. Don't
get that on GB News that she loves.
But GB News didn't do anything like that, did they? And this is what I mean. It's like, and people are identifying that now. But it's the sad thing is the fact that they think that the Disney have got an agenda, but they don't have an agenda. They're just living, they're moving toward the times. Relationships, couples, you know, family homes aren't a 2.4 children situation with a husband and wife. Husband goes out and works, women stays at home and makes apple pie, and the children come back from school. It's not like that anymore.
Are they just making kids shows for now, like to protect children on Bentkey? Is that what they're doing?
Well, Bentkey is a child's streaming service. It's aimed at children.
So I can imagine they're going to like branch out and do like a sitcom from the 70s set today. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just This is just going to be like
They kind of do that already, though. That's what I'm saying. On Daily Wire
Daily
Plus,
Wire.
that's their adult streaming service, and there's loads of documentaries on there. If you go to their website, there's a lot of documentaries on there for people to watch. There's one called "What Is a Woman?" You know, that old question. You know, there's the divided state of Biden, when Ben Shapiro is talking about how Biden has divided the country. But that's not what's happened. It's not Biden that's done it. It's their right-wing views that have done it. They've made it much extremist from one way to the next. I mean, the thing is, the only thing I would say is if you're as an adult, it's almost the old conversation of, is it right to push your religious views or your dietary views onto your children? And personally, I don't think it is. I think you should allow your children to make their own opinion. And if it's different to your opinion, that's not a problem. That's just guide them what you do, why you do it. If the child agrees with you, fine. If the child doesn't agree with you, then nurture it and discuss with them why they feel that way. So having a streaming service for adults like Daily Wire Plus, it's fine. It's when they start trying to kind of then manipulate children, and getting them young, and that's exactly what they're doing. It's not the same, but it's a little bit like the Hitler Youth, but it's not the same at all. And that's it's just a kind of like a flyaway silly comment to say, but you know what I mean? It's like they're deliberately encouraging children to think this direction.
But it annoys me because they use the excuse oh, you're going to show something gay on a kid's show, or two boyfriends or two girls or whatever. And they're like, oh yeah, we're sexualizing the children. You're sexualizing the children. It's like, but they don't have anything to say about
sexualizing. It's just about relationships.
But it's like they don't have anything to say when it's a straight couple doing it. And they're like, oh, why is that not sexualizing?
Well, no, I agree. It's like entirely. Yeah,
the whole thing is just ridiculous, and it's just exercise where they have loads of money and they're just trying to get because people when they're younger they are not on the right, they're more on the left. This is getting them young and thinking, right, we can brainwash them, because they're basically doing what they are accusing Disney and other ones like Bluey are doing. They're accusing Bluey of brainwashing your children to be trans or gay, and it's like, no,
but they're not.
I know they're not, but that's what they're doing the same thing. They're now thinking, well, we're going to do that then. We're going to brainwash them to be on the right.
Yeah, but this is what they are doing. They are trying to brainwash. And they're saying they're trying to brainwash.
They don't like the other company doing what they are actually doing.
But that's what they're saying. They're not doing that. That's just what the right think that they're doing. If you watch an episode of Bluey, it's just teaching children morals. It's teaching children to. It's actually not doing anything new. It's teaching children just to live in a civilized society where everyone is happy with each other's skin, and you're confident, and you encourage others to feel the same way as you do.
Exactly.
And what Bentkey is doing is kind of on purposely trying to make children kind of hate one another.
That's what I mean. So the company's doing what they're accusing Disney of doing. They are actually doing it with Bluey. So Bluey, not Bluey. Bentkey.
Also, Bentkey, I'm not being funny, but that sounds like a gay agenda in itself. It's like, all right. It sounds like a gay club, doesn't it? It's like, I'm off to the Bentkey tonight. You come in? Oh, yeah, why not?
I mean, I just hope it just fails, but they've got loads of money and backing.
Well, they've got a lot of backing behind them. But then, if it's at the end of the day, it's still a business, so they're not making profit from it. There's only so long that they'll keep pushing that forward. I mean, a few comments agree with what you said. Womb Boom said they're mad about the left putting the agenda into shows, so they made a streaming service fueled on an agenda.
Yeah, she put it much more quickly than I did.
Yes, much more eloquently. And Pirate_King_Dialaga says, this is what happens when mediocrity is given money and a platform.
Ben Shapiro, Candice Owens. Have you seen Candice Owens? I've seen a few things on her TikTok. She's obviously if you watch her do a talk or something. It's like she goes to universities and does talks and takes questions from people. And
do you know what's really actually terrifying also, which I've been seeing about right wing doing? There's states now, 2 or 3 states. I know Florida is definitely one. Anyway, I'm not going to try to remember what they are, but they're essentially again doing very similar to what happened before. When the Nazis kind of like took in Germany. They're burning books. They're book burning. Well, no. It's terrifying, but they're saying it's not. They're saying they're just trying to take them out so children aren't damaged by what they're reading. But no, it's not.
They're banning loads of books, aren't they?
They're banning books, but what they're doing is then they're using it for their kind of political campaigns by showing them, kind of blowtorching them with the fire and this and that. And that's essentially that's book burning. You're not. It's just it's worrying. It's like You cannot erase history like that. It's just disgusting.
We were saying about the book thing. Helen Joyce, she's written an anti-trans book, and she was posting on Twitter, like, because in libraries they have like LGBT section. She was like, "Why is my book not there? My trans book?" And it's like, it's an anti-trans book.
Yeah, it's not.
And then she's like pushed her followers, so they go into libraries, when they see it, they put her book as part of an LGBT collection, so people may mistakenly buy it and then give it.
What's her book called?
It's called Trans.
It's just called Trans.
I think so. Yeah.
So she's deliberately trying to mislead people into thinking it's a supportive
and it's
trans
an anti-trans thing. Yeah.
to make money. Essentially, is what she's doing.
Yeah.
So
she's one of the gender critical nut jobs, but she was seen recently because she said, she's like, trans people are paedophiles. She was reading fan fiction on a train. Someone spotted her and took a photo, and she was reading Harry Potter fan fiction in public. How dare she? If that was the other way around, she would have something to say about that, wouldn't she? But she said she was doing it for research purposes only. She cited a blog where she was researching, and the blog was 3 years ago. So she's still researching now. So it's all very old.
Oh, good. Well, it's extent.
There's too many of these people, but they're backed sometimes by these people who have loads of money, like J.K. Rowling, for example, who donated £70,000.
Yeah.
So they too much money, and they're all bastards. Anyway, so what is our next topic of the discussion before we get sidetracked again?
Again, lots of people are getting upset and getting their knickers in a twist over something very trivial, and again, something that's been happening for years and years and years and years, and that's the reclassification of the film Mary Poppins. Because God help us if it's just, you're damned if you don't, you're damned if you do. It's like insane. So,
you like Mary Poppins, fan?
I do like Mary Poppins. All right, Mary Poppins.
When I was younger, I only liked the bit when they went into a cartoon with the penguins.
That is a good bit.
And then when that bit stopped, I kind of never watched the rest.
I love.
You know what happens after that.
I love that's the end though. The Let's Go Fly a Kite.
When they're upside on the roof. That's house.
Chimney. True.
She like visits her friend or something.
That's Bert. Dick Van Dyke.
I can't remember. It's all very...
All right there, Mary Poppins. What are you doing today, Mary Poppins?
How dare they not hire an authentic Londoner?
Well, that's of the day. That's how disgusting
Wouldn't get that on Bentkey, would you?
Wouldn't get that on Bentkey. The BBFC, with the British Board of Film Classification, has raised the age of the original cut of Mary Poppins. So they haven't cut anything out. See, this would have been another thing. If they'd insisted on an edit, then people would have moaned about it. But no, they haven't. They haven't burned the DVD or the video. The original cut of Mary Poppins has gone from a U, which is universal for anyone,
right,
to, get ready, Ben, clutch
18.
your pearls,
Triple X,
PG. I know.
What's that stand for?
Parental guidance. Right. So that means anyone under the age of 8 may need to watch the film with an adult.
Okay, well, okay. I'm Mike Parry now. Why have they done this? Why have they changed my beautiful family film, which you all sit down and enjoy on the floor?
Enjoy the family if you wanted, because it exceeds their guidelines for you due to a discriminative term used in the film.
Oh, which one?
A derogatory term originally used by white Europeans about nomadic peoples in southern Africa is used to refer to soot-faced chimney sweeps.
I see. What Mike Parry say?
It's used a couple of times. I hazard to nail the fact that they didn't edit it out. They kept it in.
Just a parental guidance.
It's just that they're saying that maybe someone under the age of 8, or indeed a young child, might not understand the term and might need it explained to them, and why it's not necessarily the right thing to say. But at the time, it was seen as more acceptable.
Surely that's what the right wing would want, no, on their things?
No, they've not. They're kicking up a fuss. Of course they are, because they're not very happy, because they've said they've taken a beloved film.
Yeah, my Mike Parry impression.
They've taken a beloved film and they've upgraded it, so now children can't watch it anymore. PG, parental guidance. Anyone under the age of 8 might need to add an adult or a parent or a guardian to look after, to sit with them while they're watching the film. I don't understand what the problem is. I genuinely don't understand what the problem is.
Well, there is no problem. It's just because this happens quite regularly. It's not like they've gone out of their way to upset Mary Poppins.
BBFC look back at films and TV series every 5 years and re-certificate them all the time. In 2020, Life of Brian, classic film. You've not seen it? He's not a naughty boy. No, hang on, that's wrong. He's not bad. He's just a very naughty boy. I'm misquoting Monty Python. Hi everyone, welcome to my world. They downgraded Life of Brian from 15 to 12A.
Oh, there you go. See.
But the interesting thing is, when that film was first released, it was certificated as XX, which today's certificate system would meant it was an 18, and that was because it had scenes that were considered blasphemous.
Oh,
So religious reasons.
I see.
So that went down. Rocky and Flash Gordon, however, in 2021,
Not seen them yet.
both again great films. You missed out. Which contain moderate violence, language, sex references, and also some discriminative stereotypes, got upgraded from a PG to a 12A.
Had Stallone acting, so that's already a PG in my eyes.
Sylvester Stallone, he made a lot of money from Rocky. So this isn't a new thing. This isn't extravagant. This isn't something that's come out of the blue. The BBFC do it all the blooming time. It's just because it's Mary Poppins. Everyone's getting really upset about it. Apparently, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is up.
I was just about to say that should go up because the child catcher in there is terrifying.
Well, apparently
Looks
that's
like
up.
the Irish one who's on GB News. What's her name?
I don't know.
Eileen. Sorry, I don't know what.
Apparently that's up for discussion very soon. And rumours have it that that's going to go up from a U to a PG as well.
I think that's.
I think that's sensible too, because the child catcher is
scary.
terrifying.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever seen the film Watership Down?
No, but I remember my friends at college said they cried at the end.
It's terrifying. It's
animated.
Yes,
Yeah.
the rabbits, and they have fights,
die?
and it's horrible. I won't ruin it for you, but it is genuinely, and it's where the song Bright Eyes, Sue Pollard could sing this, burning like fire. I'm going to Google that in a second. That's
I'm going to do it as Scylla.
Bright Eyes.
When you do a Scylla, what you have to sing from in the middle of your throat is what you have to do if you want to do a Scylla.
I'm having a look. She might.
Bright Eyes.
She has sung it. Would you like to hear it?
If you want to, more editing, go.
Okay, well, hang on a sec. This is an advert, so we'll just turn it off for now. Yeah, so I mean, let's read some comments out then from, I basically got the comments, the article is from the BBC News website, but the comments, I went straight to the Daily Mail, because I thought...
And they're probably the only ones reporting.
The Daily Mail. So,
and us.
Brit70 said, what may be considered acceptable or offensive today could be viewed quite differently in the future. It's essential to recognise that language is not static. Sensible. Well done, Brit70. You make a good point.
Is he 70 or was he born in the 70s?
Was he born in Brit? Who knows? Was he born in Britain? But then we come to Volkmeister, who said, woke liberals will be the death of civilization. Is it woke to feel that way, though?
It reminds me of the meme where it's like, it's a picture of a utopia, like a peaceful utopia, and it says, if my boomer parents could pronounce Chipotle. And that's what that is, basically. Right, so last topic then. Wendy's, possibly clickbait at title, but Wendy's is possibly doing a dynamic menu price, what they were talking about with a meeting that went on and then got reported. And a dynamic pricing basically is they're looking at digitizing all their menus so they can just change the price sort of whenever, nice and easy. And the dynamic version of it is basically peak hours. If it's raining and the restaurant's a bit empty, we can maybe put the prices down. Mm-hmm. When it's lunchtime, all the businesses are out, put it up a little bit, improve our profits. So it's a new sort of concept which is worrying people and annoying people that they're basically going to be cheaps out of their food. And the worry is that when one restaurant does it, like Wendy's, which maybe not be too scary at the moment, the others will soon follow, which is what we saw in the UK with the club card price on Tesco, where they give you a specific price, but then if you're a club card member, it's cheaper.
Yeah,
but it's not actually
down.
cheaper, it's the normal price. But if you don't have a club card, it's like £7.
No, actually, that's been fact-checked, and actually, that's not true.
Well, Liz Truss said...
They're not
joking.
it. No,
there is stuff where it is, though, because like I saw one picture...
But there's other instances.
It was like a bottle of champagne was like £75, but a club card price was like £20.
£1.50.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, sorry?
Yeah, so in the UK...
It does annoy me, these things.
We don't call it dynamic pricing, because we like to be a bit different. We call it surge pricing. So it's basically saying that on busy periods, because as I say, Yates's, the Slug and Lettuce, they've been, they're busy pub chains, and they've been doing it for a little while now, that during peak hours, they have increased the price of their drinks by 20p. So the prices go up 20p between the hours of, just for argument's sake, 6 and 10. The thing is, what I would argue is that, again, it's one of those things that there's been promotions for years, hasn't there, where you like have a happy hour, or as I said earlier, bog off, buy one, get one free.
Yeah, cheaper.
So they have, but yeah, now people are taking concern to it because they're actually now putting the prices the other way around. Tesco's is a bit cheeky with the sense that, you know, they're kind of lowering prices if you have a club card. They pioneered it, then Sainsbury's started doing it, then Waitrose started doing it.
Aldi, of all of them.
Aldi isn't.
No, Lidl, sorry.
Lidl is starting to do it. And basically, it's if you're on their loyalty scheme, you get a cheaper price to everyone else.
It annoys me so much because I know you can just go, well, just get a card, which is fine. But like, what about people if you're visiting the country, on holiday? You're going to pop into Tesco for a meal deal for your family. Okay,
just
a little
sandwich,
family,
cutting it into slices.
Well, you're going to be charged extra because you don't live in. You're just visiting. You can't sign up for a club card.
But you don't need. You don't
think of us when we visited Malta. Imagine it's the other way around. We went into.
They're all Lidls.
We went into that Lidl and we didn't have our card. We had to pay extra than everyone else.
I'm not a member of Lidl anyway. I don't go in there enough, I'm afraid. But this is slightly different in the sense that you don't need to be part of a club in order to have these varying prices. I do get it in a weird way. I think it feels... I must admit, if I went into a restaurant and saw that someone who'd ordered a minute before me was paying £1 or £2 less than what I was because they suddenly changed the prices, then I would feel a bit like, that's a bit filthy, that's a bit dirty. Have you not noticed that in a lot of supermarkets now, Co-op do it quite a lot? They have the digital prices and they change all the time. Those prices, they're changing all the time.
Dynamic pricing.
It's more, yes. So it's not something that's kind of new or anything like that. I get it. I don't think it's a nice practice necessarily, but if, we are living in a world now where you can change things very quickly. If you buy something on a website, they could literally change the price of something within seconds.
Because Amazon are one of the companies already doing it, aren't they, I think?
Well, Amazon's a card because they deliberately raise prices so that when you buy something during the Amazon Prime sale or whatever, they're actually not cheaper.
Exactly.
They're made.
You're doing it in our faces this whole time. So Amazon does it. Ticketmaster do it for tickets, which has really affected the cost of just going to see someone perform. Kurt Cobain.
Oh yeah, Ticketmaster. I've been
very angry, wouldn't he?
Kurt Cobain, why can't...
Well, there's like a really old interview in like the 90s where someone said like Madonna's selling her tickets for £60, and he was like really shocked and like angry, and he was like, how much are our tickets? And they're like,
really?
Oh, like 15. And he was like, yeah. So they're like £400 now.
I just don't know what Kurt Cobain would think of the world now.
I know.
It's one of those weird things. Like I was watching a TikTok and they were saying like the reason why they can't make nostalgic films or TV shows anymore is because the difference between what it's like in 2000 and what it's like now is actually not much. Whilst the difference between what it was like in 2000 and what it was like in 1980 is huge changes. Like the technical and all that. And Kurt Cobain kind of hit that spot when he was like a very angry young man in the early 90s. And so he would be watching this happen and fold in front of him. I genuinely would love to know how he would feel about the world today.
He'd be on the right side.
Maybe we should do a seance episode where we got a black cat.
So Walmart also do this as well. So up to 500 of their stores are doing this as well. So it's becoming normalized, which is always the worry, because at the beginning you're like, it won't be that bad, but then it's going to become normal and then everyone's going to do it.
It won't be so bad if you knew that in quiet times they were actually lowering the prices and so you were getting a better deal. But you know for a fact that what will happen is in the quiet times, the prices will just stay stagnant and they will only ever raise prices. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so there's no kind of leeway one way or another. It's either normal price or higher price. No anything,
And there's also, because they want to implement AI into it. So like even the weather.
Told you AI
is going to be like, it's going to implement. So you can't like be like, oh, I'm going to go on a Tuesday 3 p.m. because I know it's going to be a low surge time, because if it's sunny, it won't be. So
yeah, but that's another thing.
All that sort of weird stuff.
Sorry, I just kicked you under the table. If it's a sunny day, a really hot, this is what I mean.
Put the price of water up.
They put the price of water up. Not that you should pay for water anyway. We've got council juice in a tap, my friend. But like a Coca-Cola or something
Yeah,
or a
exactly.
Fanta, there are other fizzy brands out there. If you know what I mean, they're going to bring the prices up, which is this is the society we live in now.
Or, KSI is going to release a new Prime.
Oh, I
We're like,
really hope it does.
£7. That will go up.
Well, what's that guy who does those videos? He's released those new chocolate bars, Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
Mr. Beast can release a new chocolate bar. Have you seen the pictures, by the way, on that on the packaging? No. He looks awful. Anyway, carry on.
Or like if something's trending suddenly, like an old an old chocolate bar starts trending. They're like, oh, we'll put that price up because it's trending online. Yeah, there could be all sorts of stuff
on a whisper.
But here's a good suggestion on Twitter from my name here. Says, hey Wendy's, how about instead of this ridiculous garbage of you doing their dynamic prices, why don't you do dynamic wages, whereas you increase your employees' hourly rate depending on how busy it is?
That's a fair point. That's a real fair point.
It's funny how it only works
one way,
isn't it?
Well, no, it only works for the shareholders and the people wanting to make the big bucks at the other end. But when it comes to the lonely workers at the bottom,
exactly. So they're happy to make more money, but they're not.
I mean, I'm a big fan of encouraging fair wage, as well we know. I've probably been documented as saying a few times on here. But it's, I don't know. It's just the fact that this isn't necessarily I think this whole episode could just be entitled, it's not new, but it seems to be getting more sophisticated. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just, this isn't a new thing. Brands and companies for years have been up on new prices
to do it.
Because of demand and market. Look at them when lockdown happened. Everyone was buying bikes, so the price of bicycles went up. But they said that the reason for that was because there was because the demand was so high, there was fewer of them, so they were able to raise the prices because people would want them.
Yeah. Well, this is not that. This is just them being greedy bastards.
This is being greedy.
They'll be charging you for oxygen soon.
Oh, all right, Liz.
When the air's not purified outside, you have to have a purifier on to go outside in the future.
Well, on your
Apple
Vision Pro?
Yeah, they'll be charging you. They'll be charging you Apple Vision Pro. They'll be like, you can see the real world, or you can see the augmented world for an extra £5.
What's that thing we watch on Apple? When they look out the
Silo. Yeah, so it's a Silo. See,
Silo. Yeah. Right, so you see this fake world outside.
Well, there you go. That's our topics covered, I think.
There you go. I mean,
intensely.
Apple.
Not a lot of laughs this week, but I feel
we had Scylla, we had Sue.
That's true. If she makes the edit.
Well, I hope she does. If we should do like a special episode where people can see us listening and reacting to Scylla Black, but we have to have it off YouTube. There you go. There's a plan for a future episode. Why not? Right. So, if you would like to get in touch with us for any stories that you've heard this in the following few days, or something you want to comment on what you've listened to today, don't forget the email commentbelow@gmail.com, Twitter @commentbelowpod, or Instagram @commentbelow_pod. If you're watching us on YouTube, hello, welcome. Hope you enjoy our ugly mugs. And you can comment underneath the video if you want to and discuss anything that we've discussed this week. Don't forget to also subscribe, ring the bell, and give us a thumbs up so you never miss any future episodes of the podcast. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast apps, as usual, don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends. Let them all know that you enjoy listening to this podcast. You might be in a car listening to Sue Pollard or Scylla Black, and you're thinking, if you're for your friends, you're on a long car journey, you're off to Thorpe Park. They've just changed their logo. You want to see what it looks like.
Surge price is low, so you're going to go there quick.
Yeah, we're out of half term with all the kids at school, so the prices are lower. So you're there with 3 of your friends. Why don't you pop us on while you're in the car together? You can have a nice little discussion while you're listening to us, and then your 3 friends can also enjoy us too. There you go. There's an idea for you. Don't forget to do that too. That is that.
Lovely. So we'll end the week then with a Facebook mum quote of the week, and this was posted 14 hours ago, everyone.
Oh, this is fresh. This is new.
In the middle of the...
smells so right.
10 p.m-ish. Bottle of wine. So it says...
Just plucked it off the tree.
I'm not sorry for being me. Take me as I am. If you don't like what you see, then piss off. And we will see you all again next week for another episode of Comment Below. Goodbye.
Bye.